Yeah, so here we are. It's what day is it? Saturday. I'm a day late here because I've been busy working on this thing here, taking longer than I thought it would. I guess that's a wire holding the goddamn headlight in. Oh dear. Anyway, the this truck is Gus's, and it came over here about 2 weeks ago. Now I guess that the front wheel bearing was out of it, and then while it was here, there was a bunch of work to do on the running board here, or the running panel, and in the car, the floor was, as Gus would say, soft. So, all fixed up now and ready for inspection, I hope. I think it'll pass. I think that this side here is fine. The other side I think is okay too. And then beyond that I did the wheel bearing, right? Then Gus was here to help with the bumper. We got the old bumper off, which is over there. And then put the new bumper on, which is a used bumper but in good shape. This side here didn't do anything to this side here. So there, if you want to stick around, and you'll see everything that happened with it. Buster was helping for most of the project. Did a lot of it in here. Did some of it in there on the lift. But all the body work and stuff I did right here. And so it all looks, now it looks pretty good. So I'm going to take it over and deliver it to Gus and see if maybe I'll get a beer for my troubles, eh? We'll see. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed it all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Yeah, what's going on? You've been seeing this thing hanging around the yard. That's Gus's truck, and he was driving to town the other day and had to get a tow truck to bring him out here. Oh well. So the wheel bearing on this side is going clickety-clack, which isn't a good thing to happen. We'll take it in and get it fixed up, and meanwhile, while it's here, there's a new rear bumper for it right here that we picked up, God, just about 2 years ago. Maybe a year ago we picked that up. Yeah, a year ago we picked that up, and it's time to get it onto here, because this one here is getting to be not much left of it. Anyway, that'll be a couple of jobs on that. So front wheel bearing that side, then we'll evaluate whether the other side needs a wheel bearing too. But this side here is clickety-clack, so we'll check it out and see what's going on. Yeah, so now here I am. This thing here is pretty heavy on this lift, I think, and it's not a very easy thing to lift. You get it underneath the torsion. I've got it underneath where the torsion bar hooks here. I think that might be a lift. No, that's not a lift point. That's something else. And I've got it underneath where the frame bends up back there. But I don't want to lift it too high. I'll just high enough. But for now, here's the shouldn't do that. I'll check out the other side here and see what's going on. That side here is solid, so I think we're okay on that side. Okay, I'll take it apart and see what's happening over there. And then while it's here, we'll get this rear bumper fixed, because it's not much left of that thing. Anyway, we'll figure that out. And Buster's out there. I'll give Gus a call and see if he wants to come and be part of this entertaining thing. Yeah, here I am on the Ranger 2010, maybe 2008. I'm not sure. Anyhow, whichever it is, I did find a YouTube online. Like, here's the problem here. Like you can see, I'll get light here. Get the light on it. Hey, see, that bearing is completely gone in there. Anyhow, but it comes as a sealed unit, and it includes this thing here, which is the monitor, like wheel slip monitor, whatever they call that. And so you just take this wire off. It clips in up over here, right? And then these clippy things hold it. And so you have to put it back on the same way. So sort of pay attention. I did find a good YouTube that has this thing, you know, a really good explanation of how to get this all apart. So I'll put a link on that down below here, and you can have a look at that if you need to. Otherwise, it's I'll just show you how I get along. Okay, all for now. Yeah, meantime, Gus was working on this thing here. Not much of that left over, but that all comes off, and we've got a new one to go on there. And it's just held on by a couple of bolts. One there, one there. No, that's the trailer hitch held on there. Maybe it's, yeah, one there and one ahead of it there. That shackle's in the way maybe, or I don't know. We'll just check it out. We'll see what happens. Somehow it's held on there. I'll take a look at the new one, the old and the new one. See what, yeah, it's got a couple of bolts pointing upwardly pointing bolts on that thing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Upwardly point, these ones, that one there and that one there. I'll maybe put some Scupo on those and let them soak for a while before we try getting that apart. Okay. We'll do that with what do you call that stuff? Oh dear me. Stuff that gets rid of, you know, oil of some sort. Yeah, there, that's all apart. And then I cleaned out around in here and cleaned this off here so that it'll be a good seat again. And I really should look at I'll take a look at the brakes before we go too much farther. Meanwhile, these two things here come off the old bumper and they work because the ones that came with the new bumper are broken. So I'll put these onto the new bumper. Well, used bumper. There it is right there. And these things here, they just plug in. They only go in one way because there's only one way for them to go. Right there. And right there. So those two things go into there, and then the electricity is right there and it plugs into them. So I'll plug that in. Then the old bumper came off. Actually fairly easy. Only one of these big bolts here. These big bolts hold it on from underneath. They go through those holes there and hold it on right there and there. And only one of them was needed some heat to get it off. I put penetrating oil on all of them, let them soak for quite a while, and then they just came off. But the car has had a undercoating on it for quite a bit, so that usually, you know, helps, right? There is more rust over there though. Yeah, there we go. That's all on there now and looking good. The old one was not much left of it. This part here is pretty solid, but the tin bits are all gone. And it was only held together by the plastic bits. So anyhow, this one here is in good shape, so that'll last for a while. There is there's a hole in the floor underneath right there. Needs to be fixed before it'll get inspected. We'll see about that. It seems that the running boards are, you know, they're just about passable. We'll give a try at the inspection for them before we try and do anything to them. And then everything I hear is okay. I checked that the brakes would return, and they do, and they fit over the disc, and the disc looks, you know, decent, and the brakes look decent, so I think it's okay. And over on this side here, the running board on this side is great, no problems with it. Like, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. Not the greatest body line there, but I guess that's the way that is. I'll get a rubber hammer and see if I can bash that in a bit. Yeah, here it is back on the Ford Ranger, and oh, the wheel's back on it. Anyhow, like I said, I've got Gus brought the new parts this morning, and then I just put them in there and forgot the camera. Hey, what the hell? So follow that. There's a really good link on YouTube, or a good description on YouTube how to do this. Does a much better job than I would in explaining it. And I'll put the link down in the description down below here so that you can have a look at that if you need it. Otherwise, what no entertainment value is, this is done, hey? Except that now I'll have to just have a look at the floor's got a hole in it right down there. So we'll take a look at that and see what we can do about making that passable for inspection anyhow. Okay. Yeah, here we are, still on the Ford Ranger, right? Got the front end put back together and it seems to be fairly good. And there's a little soft spot on the floor here that needs to be fixed up a bit. And then a little bit of the running board or the rocker panel needs to be fixed up a bit. And that piece of frame right there is a little bit soft. So I'll see what I can do about making them so that they're a little bit better, in better shape. Not perfect shape, but better shape. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there's the first little piece I welded in right there. And it's welded on this side and then it's welded on the outside too, so it's in there good, well. And I'll give it a little bit of paint on it. And there's supposed to be a hole right there that I'll drill just for drainage. Whoop. Oh, take two here. Yeah, so I put in a piece in here. I got a piece in there. I'm going to paint that right now before I forget. And then the next piece I'll have to do is just down underneath here. I'll have to put that box in that goes around there somehow or other. We'll just see. Yeah, so this operation here might even require the use of the bead roller, which I haven't used forever, because it needs a bead right in here across there and another bead right across there. So I'll stick them in and see how that works out. Yeah, there we are. There's a decent shot maybe. We'll give it a try. So I'll just turn it down a little bit to start, not too much, and roll it through once. Rolling it backwards is difficult, so maybe I'll just take it out and run it again. Give it a bit more depth this time. Same line. See, it's starting to get a little bit of a thing there. So I'll do it again. That's not a bad little bead there. You see that? Yeah, you can. One more time? What the hell, eh? 1/2, 1, 1/2. That's two good beads on there. That's the way that it looked originally, I think. So now I can weld this piece in, but that'll be a tomorrow job. So I did, I'll just turn this off for a second here. I did some modifications on this bead roller because it was, always flopping back and forth. And I just put, what's that, 1-inch square tubing, welded along and welded down and welded along. And that really makes it so that it doesn't go back and forth here anymore, and it makes the bead work way better. So that turned into a pretty good bead. And also I used this what they call a 1/2 inch a 1/2 inch die, and then used a 3/8 inch insert so that it gets a bit sharper edge on it, which is what I wanted in this case. That turned out pretty nice. I'm happy with that. So that'll be part of the truck. Okay, onward and downward. Yeah, here I am. I made this piece last night with the divots in it. And then I've made these, put holes in here so I can do a, whatever you call that, a plug weld there. And then put holes in this side so I plug weld it from the bottom up. And then these holes here are for the side piece when it gets done down here, which will eventually get done. Okay, I'll carry on. Yeah, here I am still on the Ford Ranger, right? And I was welding this piece in here. Notice that there's holes in here, so I cut that out, put a piece in there. Now I'll cut a piece to put in there, then I'll work on the rocking panel, because that part in there, the inside thing is done. These are plug welded here, and it's plug welded from underneath over there. So now if I just cover that, and that should be okay. And I've got sort of a piece of cardboard here. I'm cutting see if I can make a pattern for it so it's easier to figure out what I need. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, there I've got a piece ready to go into that big area there. Plug holes here for across that. And then I got plug holes all the way around, but some of them they won't fit, but I'll just fill them in. And then back and down in this bottom here I'll butt weld it. That's the bottom side. I painted the bottom side. Top side's not painted. I'll show you when I get it fitted in there. So that's about how it fits there. And you can see at the top I'll have to put another patch up there, and at this side here I'll have to put another patch, but I'll just do that after I get this piece fitted in, because that's the way it is, right? And then I'll just plug weld it along here. I need to put a piece of metal for this to sit on here, which later, and then do the rocker panel thing. But even like here, there's a hole there and there's a hole there, so oh dear. We'll see if I can get that covered up with well, I'll put some fiber, whatever you call that, like fiberglass reinforced filler on that and along on these welds, and see how that looks out. Yeah, that one there, that's half welded in, but there's still holes over here, right? I don't know. I'll just fill them up with filler, I think. Keep the water out. Then a little bit of a patch to do right there. We'll just see how this works out. And then I need my bigger hammer to pound this down, hold this down while I get them plug welded. And then I have to do some serious pounding on them to get them down on there. But I'll work on that. Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. Good help is hard to find. Where the hell you jumped? Holy shit, you're welding. You better stay out of there. You don't want to be welding. That's bad news. No, stay out of there. Like that's not for you. That's definitely not. No. Stay out of there. Can't be jumping in there. You need less rope. Go on. Okay. Anyhow, that's all welded in there. I'll just I have to fill those holes up, and then I'll get some putty in for that fiberglass filler and put it on there to seal any pinholes. Okay. Yeah, so where did I get to yesterday? So this thing here is welded in. I fixed it up pretty good there. I'll put some filler in that other stuff. There's a little spot right there and a little spot right there, needs filler. Then I did rust converter on this out here. I'll give it another coat of rust converter today here, and then I'll put down filler on these things. And then I did also do this lip here, which is just welded on at the bottom, so that's good. Okay, so more rust converter, and then I'm working on the rocker panel. I got that cut out of there. I have a new piece made to go into there. So and I painted the inside of it so that it won't rust right away. Anyhow, we'll see how it goes along. Yeah, there, I filled it up with, well, seam filler. This stuff here, Evercoat metal to metal, metal reinforced body filler for metal surfaces. Anyhow, that's, I don't know who recommends, but somebody recommends that you follow up all your weld seams with this, and it fills in the pinholes, and it's waterproof. And so that's there and there. And then you just put normal Bondo over that stuff to do the finishing work on it. But that's enough for that up there. I still have to do some welding underneath it. And but I'm waiting for the floor to dry. It was raining all day yesterday and the water seeped in while the door was open. So now I'm thinking about that back here. It is pretty close to being passable, but not quite, I think. So perhaps I'll just cut a piece out here and see if I can put a new piece in. I'll sort of check it on the other side and make it the same as the other side, if I can, or close to the same. We'll just check it out and see. Yeah, so now that's hard, I'm leaving to harden. But what do? When you start cutting on these things, it seems that you never ever stop cutting. So this piece here is kind of there's a gap here and another gap here. But maybe I'll just put a solid piece in there, because that'd be, you know, just as easy. That'll be good, and then it'll be done, and no more problems with that. Yeah, there's a good shop dog. That's Buster. Anyhow, I had the jack here holding him like a, what do you call that? That would be an anchor for a Buster, was the jack. But I needed it to jack up the truck. So I put a post in. Anyhow, that'll be good. So over here, been using both shops, eh? Now for a piece of metal to go underneath that rocker panel, is that what it is? Rocker panel? I think that's what it's called. So I made this piece of metal here, 24 inches long, a little bit longer than I need. And then I put this curve in, but I just did this on the brake there, just move it along an inch or half an inch, and then bend it a tiny bit, half an inch, bend it a tiny bit, and that'll look pretty good. And then I've got this thing, like for doing plug welds, I got this thing here that I punch holes along the lip there. I'll punch a bunch of holes along that lip. Sure saves a lot of drilling. I'll show you. Here, I'll just show you. You get to watch this. Cool stuff. It's of course, it's from Princess Auto, or down in the States, it'd be Harbor Freight. Oh, that's going now. See if I can zoom you in, maybe, without tripping over too much stuff. Okay. And this has got a crimper on the top. That's, you know, it crimps. And it's got this thing here on the bottom for punching holes. And when I first started using it, I didn't think it was working right. And in fact, it wasn't working right because operator error. I wasn't putting enough air pressure on it. So get the right amount of air pressure and it punches holes. Punches holes like you wouldn't believe. That's punched. So another thing I did, I don't know, can you see, here's the welder, right? So right up, this is where the jaws are. You press that and it just goes, that little punch goes through. But you see right here, at that edge there, I just cut that back a bit farther with my grinder thing, like whiz wheel, I guess some people call it. Anyhow, and that made it so that I could, so here's, can you see that? Yeah, oh, that's pretty close, eh? Wait a minute, I'll zoom you out. Yeah, there, that's how long it takes to punch those holes in it. And they come out like that's the right distance. The reason I've cut that little bit of excess, like with the grinding wheel, whatever they call these things, the cutting wheel. So I cut that little bit of excess in there just so that it would I could put the metal back a little bit farther into the jaws. Didn't want to cut it too far because then it would weaken the jaws here, but there's lots of metal there, so I think it's all right. Anyhow, but that seems to work pretty good. And now I'll go back and start getting it. So I'll plug weld it. I'll just hold it on clamps on the bottom, and then I'll oh wait, I'll show you over there. Yeah, there it is. I've got it held on there with a couple of clamps, and then you can, if you press it up now, I went back and forth a few times to the vise just to get this so that it fit there well. And this side here, I was lucky first time around. So the curve is a little bit tighter at this end than it is at this end for whatever reason. Now I'll just do the cut and butt on this. Whoops, where am I pointing, I wonder? I'll do the cut and butt on this, but first I'm going to paint the black paint on the inside of that and on the inside of this. And I might as well paint the black paint on this because it looks like it's hard before I get dirt all over it. Hey, good idea. Yeah, there now. I'll just let that harden overnight or dry overnight, and that'll be it because I'm pretty well done today. And I painted on the inside of here, like it's pretty rusty on the back side of that, but oh, it'll help it a little bit, I hope. And then I also painted the this piece here that I made just on the inside, so that it'd be, you know, won't rust right away. It'll rust soon, but not right away. Anyway, that's enough for today. It's might just be able to, well, tomorrow I'll be able to put that seat back into place and put the carpet back in place. Whoops, pointing the wrong way. Put the seat back in place, put the carpet back in place, and then it'll be a roadable thing then, and then we'll get this other stuff done. I did lift up the back end and put it on a block also, so that there's more room to work at underneath there, which it makes it kind of nicer. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Yeah, Whizwheel, that comes from, there's a channel on there called Adventures Made from Scratch, Junkyard Guy. And he's pretty good, he makes pretty good videos, does lots of stuff, so keeps you busy. And he calls these cutting things Whizwheels. Yeah, here I am again on the Ford Ranger. And I've been, once you start cutting, you never stop cutting. So this, I originally cut it from here to here, then there's a rusty piece there. So now I put in some extra in behind here and some extra in behind there where it was rusted through. And then I cut it back to here because it just, no matter where I cut, there was just holes already that somebody had filled up with Bondo. So I guess we'll just, that's how far it's cut now, and then we'll have to fill up this one here, like that's already a hole in there from another adventure. Anyhow, then I ran out of wire on the welder, so I had to go find some more wire, but I'm back in business now. Yeah, so here I am. I'll do the cut and butt along here. Seems to be going along all right. And then down here I'll likely cut it right here, put a new piece from here to here at that size because it's up higher, right? Okay. Oh yeah, here I am, another day back at the Ford Ranger. Now I've got this welded across here, just tacked on, and that'll be good for now. I haven't done anything on the bottom yet. Now I'm going to make a piece to go in here, then I'll make this little piece to go in there. I have sort of a pattern for this piece right here in the other shop, so I'll go and see if I can figure that out. Okay. Yeah, there it is. I put a piece big enough, right, and put a flange on it and put in some plug holes for it. So now I'll bend it the way I want to bend it. We'll just see how I get it bent here. I'll give it a bit of a bend here anyhow, starting. Yeah, I've got this sort of a pipe bender here. I'll see how it works out. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah, that seems to bend it. About there is where I want it to bend. I don't want to get too much of a bend in it. I'll give that a try and see how that fits. Yeah, Buster's heading for the other side of the planet, wherever that would be right about now. Maybe down in Southeast Asia. He'll get there in quite a few hundred years. Anyway, I got ahead of you here. I got it all welded in. Oh dear. And then I put a coat of stuff on it. On the outside here, just the seam filler stuff. So that's going to look all right when it's all done and said. And I got that plug welded all in the back there. Now I'm going to, on the other side here, I don't know if you can see. Can you see all that stuff? No, not very well. Let me get some light for you. Yeah, there was a little bit of welding back in here that I have to do, cover it over with that seam filler, and then a bit of welding on the wall right up here that I have to cover it over with seam filler, and then all that stuff up in there that was new metal. So I'll get the seam filler out and keep on that. Then this needed another coat right here, just on the floor part right there. So I'll let that harden up. Give it some black paint. Then once that's hardened up, then I'll sand it off and do a little bit of body putty work if it needs it, and carry on. Yeah, there now I've got one coat of that body stuff on there. What do you call it? All the way along, right? So I'll sand that tomorrow and put another coat on. And then on the inside here, I've got the little bit down here done. That bit up there, and then along to the front. Now I'm not too worried about that stuff. That's just to cover up the seams so they don't rust. And then I'll put black paint underneath. And this part here, where am I pointing? Hello! This part here will get the, I've got gray paint there, but that'll have to be, got to do a bunch of sanding and, sanding and cleaning and priming and blah, blah, blah. And the doggy has had enough for today. Have me a doggy. But we're done for the day here, so I'll see you again tomorrow, I hope. Bye for now. Yeah, here we are. Time to put on a top coat, eh? So I took this sander, it's got, I think it's 60 or 80 grit on there, and I just sanded it down reasonably good. Now I got to put a top coat on here to fill in all these little holes. I blew it off with my blower, air blower thing. So, put on the top coat, see what happens. That looking the right way? Pretty close. Anyway, and there's my palette of color here. This is like just normal body filler, and I've been waiting too long. It's already hardening on me. Jesus, that stuff hardens fast. So, oh, I screwed up there. Took too long to get here, so I'll have to start again, I think, because this stuff here is too hard. Yep, screwed up. Okay, I'll be back. Yeah, so this time I got over here with the hardener on it and mix it right here, because the last time I had, well, I think I had too much hardener in it for one thing, number one, and number two was I was waiting too long between mixing it and starting it on the job. So I screwed up twice. That's a double screw up. When I was putting hardener in it last time, it squirted like unexpectedly. There was an air bubble or something in it, and all of a sudden it splotched all over it. So anyhow, we'll mix it up again, and hopefully this time it'll be okay and be able to use it. Usable stuff, right? So you got, once the stuff is mixed up, you're on the clock. Doesn't take long before it hardens. Oh, I'll just, get this stuff on here before we get into big trouble again. I'm mostly worried, or not worried, I'm mostly concerned about getting this outside looking right. I'm not too worried about the underneath. Now I'm going to let that harden. I'll give it a little bit of a buff with the sander, and then I'll put another coat on, just a finish coat, I think. See what happens. Yeah, there. It's getting pretty close. Like there's a low spot in here, low spot there, low spot right there, or a bumpy bump. So a little bit of a top coat on there, and I think I'm done with the body filler. I don't know what it's like underneath, but I'm not too worried about the underneath. Just mostly worried about that area there, because that's where the man on horseback will see it. Okay, so I'll put another little bit on there, and then it's I found some primer in the in my shop that I'll give it a prime with, and then we'll paint it tomorrow. Yeah, there it is. It's all set to go. Now the I put some rust paint, just brown rust paint along here. I'll take a piece of sandpaper tomorrow and scuff that up a bit before I paint it with, then I'll prime it all over the top of that. But I just wanted the rust paint there to maybe neutralize some of that little bit of rust along that edge. Then, what else is going on? Then as I was cleaning it, degreasing it, all of a sudden all this rubberized stuff that I didn't even realize existed started coming off and going everywhere. So got rid of that. And then we'll be able to hopefully paint tomorrow. So I'll prime it tomorrow morning, and then I'll paint it tomorrow afternoon, sort of thing. Okay. Yeah, here I am. I got the Ford Ranger all plasticed up and taped up, and still I'm getting marks on it. Oh well, I'll clean them off. Now I did get already the first coat of primer on there, and it looks not too bad. A couple of spots over there I nicked with my hand, but I'll put another 2 coats of primer on, I think. We'll just see how I do after the 1 coat here, after the next coat. Mixed it up. I found primer in the other shop over here. Where am I? Over here. This is the primer that I used on the whatever you call that, the BMW. So I've got, that's the primer, that's the activator, and that's the reducer. Oh, where am I here? There's reducer. Dimension reducer. And I have some, this is clear coat left. So I'll use that also on it, and that'll use that stuff up maybe. Well, we'll see. Anyhow, this one here, it's, I used, medium build is 4 to 1 to 1. So 4 parts primer, 1 part activator, and 1 part reducer. So I did that, and this is what it is. It's Pro something or other, 2K urethane primer, surface, blah blah blah. And it seemed to, it did a good job on the BMW anyhow, so I'm pretty sure it'll do a good enough job on this one. Then over here's, I just used a normal, because I thinned it out pretty good, I used just a normal 1.6 thing, 1.6 nozzle, I think that's what it is. 1.4, I used a 1.4 nozzle on it. Then it wanted like 1.6 to 1.8, but I thinned it pretty good, so it seems to go on all right. Then I'll just do the next coat, and then I'll report after that's done. Yeah, here I am. So there's coat number 2 done. Seemed to go on okay, and it looking good. Well, looking more than adequate for what we want out of this thing. And this, as usual, it flakes off of this plastic stuff when it flies around, but I'll clean that up with a bit of sandpaper later. And underneath is, I think, more than good. Yeah, good enough. And I didn't get any overspray on the truck, I don't think. I think the truck is clear. So now, Give it another 15 minutes, one more coat of that, and then let it sit for about 6 hours. And we'll come back and put the final coat on, which is that stuff there. Yeah, so now there's 3 coats of primer and a dog. And it looks all right. I don't think I'll complain about that. There are a couple of ripples in it right there where I didn't do a great job of body filling, but man on horseback won't even see all that. Now, have to leave it for about 6 or 8 hours, and then I'll give it a light sanding and put the final coat on it. Yeah, here I am, new day, and ready to give it a light sanding. That's 600 grit. I'm just going to give it a light sanding just to take off any bugs and stuff that may have got on there. I'll show you. See if I get this pointing the right way. Round about there, hey? Yeah, they're terry cloth, or, you know, Simonized cloth, hey, whatever you want to call it. It gets most of the big dust off. And then tack cloth, which will just pick up any little bits of dust left over. Yeah, a little bit left over. The terry cloth misses, then it should be okay to paint. Then if the tack cloth is sticking anywhere, it's running nice and smooth on here, so that's a good indication that it's pretty good. Don't know what that is all about, but I guess that's the way that is. Okay. So now, I'll just go get my mask on and we'll paint this thing. There we go. Got the rattle can. This is where I'm painting in here, eh? There you can see that. So you have to shake this for about 2 minutes, which is what I did. I'll try out a bit up here first. Okay. Yeah, there's coat number 2 on. I'll give it another 10 minutes or so to flash, and then I'll coat number 3. Yeah, there's coat number 3 on. Now I'll just let it flash off for 20 minutes and dry for 20 minutes, then I'll put a clear coat on it. I've got the clear coat stuff over in the shop there. I'll show you. Hang on. Yeah, here's the clear coat. I have this left over from, might have been, this one here might have been from the Triumph, and this one here might have been from way back when I was doing the BMW. Anyway, I use the same, but it uses, it's 8 to 2 to 1. So 8 parts of this, 2 parts of this moderate reducer, and 1 part of this universal hardener. Then I'll put them into which one? This one here maybe, I think is the one. I'll clean that up, make sure it's good. I'll just clean it up right now. Yeah, there I've put 1 coat of clear on. I'll show you over here. And I'm ready for putting the 2nd coat on in a minute or 2. Well, I'll wait about 20 minutes and get that on. But the 1st coat I got a bunch of this plastic stuff. It's always whenever you hit it with air, it knocks off a bunch of flakes. So a bunch of them knocked off, and I don't know what to do about that because they are already in the clear, but there's only about, maybe 2 or 3 spots, so I think we can live with that. Maybe I'll touch it over with gray paint before I go ahead with the next coat. Then they'll be just flakes, right? See what happens. Okay, that's what I'll do. Let this stuff flash. Okay. Yeah, getting ready for the last coat here of clear. See how it goes. Yeah, there now. I'll just clean this paint gun up, and I've set a timer for 59 minutes now, and after an hour I'll peel the tape and stuff off there and put the seat back on. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, well, now we'll get all the plastic off of here and see how it looks underneath. Try that. There we go. Now I'll try this again. Yeah, most of the paper and stuff is pulled off of it. Now I'll just pull off the rest of this tape here, see what happens. It'll uncover all the dirt that I left behind, right? But for the most part, it's all right. I wonder what I can do. I might be able to. Yeah, it seems to be. That'll all harden up good. It'll look good. The man on horseback will be fine. So it looks good down below here and along the edges. I think we're fine as far as the like it'll pass inspection. That's the major goal here. Now I'll put the seat back down and get it out of here. Yeah, there it is, all back together again. So I'll get it out of the shop here. Maybe I'll take it and deliver it to Gus, and I'll likely get a beer for my troubles that way. Hey, that'll be okay. Anyway, so there, that's good. That's good news. It's done. Now I have to clean up all the stuff I put all over my Porsche. The Porsche is the tool chest, right? So now this truck here is thankfully complete, and it looks pretty good. Like that's color match is reasonably good. I think it's a bit darker because the rest of the paint's a bit faded, eh? But color match is reasonably good, so I'll just get it off of here and we'll see what we can come up with. Yeah, it occurred to me I didn't really do an ending to this. It's there you are, all done. So this will be the final shot of this before it goes away. So here's what it in the sunlight. Chairs are back in. All the plastic is back, well, more or less as good as it gets. And this part here, like there's a couple of bits here where the paint didn't stick too well. Well, stuck to the tape okay. Anyway, but we'll maybe have a little bit of touch-up paint for that later on, once it hardens up. And then Buster, we're gonna take it and deliver it. Oh yeah, here we are. It's September 1st already. But a nice sunny day today. I've had a bunch of rain the last week. There's been some hurricanes going across out in the ocean that haven't come close to us, but they've been creating some tropical moisture that comes up, and then it rains and rains and rains. Anyway, but that seems to be over for this week. So I think it's going to be a sunny week this week, it said. And, well, we'll see what happens. But today is a nice day, so I'll take today as being a nice day at the beach here. And Buster's happy to be here. But he's always happy to be here, whether it's raining or not. Yeah, things are good. Nice day. Tide's coming in. It's not high until noon today, but it's big tides this week because of the moon, so it's already up pretty high. Yeah, there it is. Beautiful calm day today. Now the other day there were three cruise ships in port, and it was rainy and ugly, and they should be here today. Oh well. You can't do anything about that. There you go. Well, that'll be another day at the beach.